Hello YouTube, it's me again, and today I'm bringing you the Confessions of a Palette Addict tag. Confessions of a Palette Addict. Yes, that's the one I'm doing. And I decided to do this one, well, after I did my makeup inventory video, I kind of went on a rampage of watching palette videos, palette collection videos, palette tag videos, and was almost going to do a palette collection, but then I decided no, that's not going to be very fun because I have no high-end palettes to make it worthwhile or fun, so I decided to do the Palette Addict tag instead. And that will show you a range of my palettes without showing you everything, and it shouldn't be too boring because it's all pretty much drugstore palettes. So with all that rambling out of the way, we will get started. So, how many makeup palettes do you have? Okay, in my makeup inventory I said I had 87 eyeshadow palettes, but I'm going to amend that number because that's just straight up palettes. And, well, palettes is anything over from duo on up. That's what I include in my eyeshadow palettes. So, bearing that in mind, I have 103. Yes. And of those, the second question is how many of those are eyeshadow palettes? And the answer to that is 99. Okay? So, 4 of those are non-eyeshadow palettes, and I'll show you those first. I have a concealer palette, and this is by Cadet, and it is a cream concealer palette. I have used it occasionally, I don't know if you can see, but I've got that. I've got an e.l.f. contouring blush and bronzer, I cannot speak. And this is the St. Lucia one. I also have a Hard Candy face trio in 3 Times a Lady, which looks like that. And this definitely needs some more love from me. It is a very nice palette. And my last one is a lip palette, which looks like that. So those are the 4 non-eyeshadow palettes. Okay? My top 3 palettes. Alright, let's see. I've got them here. Okay, this first one is from LA Colors, and it is the Urban palette. The reason this is one of my top 3 is because it's one of those kind of nostalgic palettes for me. Now, this was the kind of palette my mother bought me when I first, well, maybe when I turned like 14 or so. She bought me a palette like this, and I used it and used it, and this is kind of nostalgic for me, and this is one I bought myself after I used that one up. But that's number 1. Or, well, not number 1, but it's another one is the Silent Treatment Trio from Wet n Wild. And I know everybody's gaga over Walking on Eggshells, but these ones, especially this eyelid shade, that's just me all over. I just like this one so much better than the Walking on Eggshells, and I really don't see what the hype is on that one. I'm sorry. And then the next one is another kind of older palette, but I still think it's just beautiful. The colors in it just, the one in the middle is a silver, then you've got 4 different shades of pinky purples. And this is by Madeline Mono. I don't think they make these anymore. Regrets. Where did that one go then? Here it is. Was it last Halloween? I bought a Wet n Wild Fantasy Makers glitter palette. And I am so very glad I never bought any of their singles, because this is just, I mean, it's just a mess. The top glittery stuff is like, that's all it is a top layer of glittery stuff. Underneath is just like a really weird cream consistency. I don't know, it's kind of weird. I was going to try and see if I could use it as like an eyeshadow base or an eyeshadow primer. I haven't tried it yet, but I will let you know when I get there and how that works. But I was just not impressed. Let's see, another set of palettes I was not impressed with were the Profusion eyeshadow, 10 color eyeshadow palettes. And I think Emily Newell had these on her channel at one point. But they are powdery. Okay, this is the Smoky one. And I don't know. I don't know, I don't know. I just can't. I've never used them, if that helps. And the colors, they're just like everything else. That's, I don't know. I guess this one isn't smoky enough for me, is part of my problem. It just looks like a neutral eye palette to me. And this other one is supposed to be the neutral eye palette, so I don't know. I guess they're just not my thing. And then the others are the Wet n Wild limited edition palettes. Now, it's not because they're Wet n Wild, and it's not necessarily because they're limited edition. It's just that, well, this one is to Amuse and Carouse. To Muse and Carouse. I don't know, but see, it should be a beautiful color. But it hardly shows up. I mean, there's not. Well, the brown kind of does. But you just can't. I don't know, they're just not as good as the regular Wet n Wild eyeshadows. I'm sorry to say. How many limited edition or holiday palettes do you own? I own 26. This one I found in Walgreens around Christmas. It is by Giordano Colors, which is one I had never heard of. It's $3. But you've got 8 eyeshadows, which are all very, very sparkly. And then in the bottom, 2 blushes, which are also very, very sparkly. I've also got this very beat up Ruby and Millie palette that I found one Christmas. And yes, you can see it's very beat up, the mirror is cracked, and all that fun stuff. But the 6 eyeshadows in here are very nice. I have not played with it much, and I need to, but that is a very nice palette as well. It comes with a nice little slipcase. Another holiday palette I have is this messy French Connection UK, and it's called Perfection is on two layers. The woman must pull the bottom drawer. But it comes with a very nice, great big mirror, which I'll try to cover for you here. And then the top part is all eyeshadows. And the bottom there, well, this is very hard to work with here. In the bottom layer, no, on the sides there, are lip glosses. And remember it said the woman must pull the bottom drawer out? There is your 2 brushes and a powder, which I can't decide if it's supposed to be a face powder, a highlight, or a bronzer. I suppose it depends on your skin tone. I'm assuming it was supposed to come with a brush, but mine didn't. I think it had been ransacked by then, but I didn't care, because usually those brushes aren't very helpful either. I've already mentioned one Wet n Wild limited edition palette. I've also got 5. Is this the same palette? Same collection? I'm not sure. But I've got Who's Carpooling, Sunset to Sea, and these were all from the summer collection, I think. No scalpers allowed. Standing My Campground, and Lost My Wristband. Okay, and then I've got the two more of the 8-pan palettes, and this is Flirting at the After Party and Walking the Red Carpet. And I remember when it was all over YouTube, people were trying to find these things, and I just randomly found them at like Kmart or Shopko or someplace. But I've got Lights, Camera, Attraction, and this is a Color Icon eyeshadow medley. I don't know if this was specifically a limited edition, but I know they don't make it anymore. Oh, and I've got this one elf one that came out over Christmas, and this is called a 6-piece geometric eyeshadow palette, and it's in the white Christmas packaging. I don't think they make their geometric eyeshadows anymore either. But yeah, they are. I find it kind of hard to get your brush into some of the middle ones, just because of all the corners. Anyway, okay. And the last two holiday palettes I have are these Hard Candy palettes. And they came in a set with a little eyeshadow brush. And they don't really have names. They do have numbers on the back. This top one is 4157. And the bottom one is 4158. I just really liked all the colors. This one's more of a smoky palette, and this is kind of a green, purpley neutral palette, kind of. I don't know, I haven't tried all of the colors out on those yet. How many of your palettes are custom? And the answer to that is 5. This is one of those empty palettes you can buy on eBay. I believe this is the 25mm one. And what I did was I depotted my Natural Collection eyeshadows into this. And I do still have all the pans, they just aren't in there. And I did take some out of here and put into an e.l.f. Custom Compact because they fit just beautifully in there. See? So that's those two. This other one is the 35mm palette, and this one is quite messy. I'm going to apologize first off for that. But these are my Makeup Academy singles and a few 17 singles up top there. And I really either need to use this or clean it or something. I'm not sure. I have two, well, they're called Books of Shadows. And they're made by this lovely person called Another Soul on Etsy. And this is the one I keep with my everyday makeup. And then this one I've put together and I haven't used yet. And I'll kind of show you what's inside them, or how they look like inside. But there's that one, and these are a bunch of Technic eyeshadows, and then just some no-name brand eyeshadows and blushes in the corner there. This one's kind of the same. It's got a bunch of no-name eyeshadows and blushes in it, but these are all little round ones. The bottoms of these are magnetic, and they do have magnetic closures, but the no-name brands have the very cheap tin pans in them. So what I had to do was I took zinc plated washers, very tiny, very thin, and super glued those to the bottom, and now they stay in just nice. They do slide around a little bit, but they've never come out on me. Which one palette was not worth the price? I've actually got two sitting over here. And they are the Maybelline Quads. And this one is Amethyst Smokes. and this one is Velvet Crush. I guess I was expecting these to be better than they actually were. This is the old style packaging, but they just don't seem to have the pigmentation I thought they would. See? I don't know, I just thought they would be better for the price. Since they're, you know, a popular drugstore brand, I figured they'd just be better, but they're not really. I was just really disappointed, I guess, that they weren't as good as I thought they were going to be. And which palette was worth every penny? This might be kind of an odd one, and I've already mentioned it, but it is the Book of Shadows. They are $17? I'm not sure, I bought them a while ago. But they are beautiful. They come in a variety of different patterns, styles, sizes now. She's got ones that are double-sided, ones that are bigger, ones that are smaller. They're just very, very nice quality handmade palettes. Okay, question number 10. In the last 12 months, how many palettes have you given away or returned? None. I haven't bought palettes in the last 12 months. If for some reason one morning you woke up and all of your palettes vanished, which 3 palettes would you run out and get? Honestly, I probably would not run out and get any of the makeup I have currently. I'm sorry I keep shaking the camera. I would go out and get something I've not tried. Like, for instance, I would go get one of the Sleek Eye Divine palettes. The one in Acid particularly attracts me. I've been wanting to try a palette from Kat Von D. And right now I don't buy any high-end palettes because I would not be able to give them enough love that they deserve, especially for the price. Same thing with Too Faced. That's another brand I'd like to try a palette from. But I can't justify it right now because I have so much makeup that I'd never be able to give it the justice it deserves. But anyway, I would get those 3 palettes if my makeup disappeared. I will, however, do a little honorable mention palette. That's over here again. And this is probably one of my more recent purchases. And it is the Flower Beauty Shadow Play Secret Garden palette. And this is everything a drugstore palette should be, even though it's got a higher price tag. But it is cruelty-free. It is very well pigmented. They have color. I've been wanting to try more from Flower Beauty for a while now, and I found this one on clearance at my local Walmart. So, I think they got in other shades, which is why this one was on the clearance rack. I cannot spit out my words today. Anyway, I believe that is it. But thank you for watching. Don't forget to check out my Tumblr and Facebook, which I linked down below. I also link my Disney beauty palettes and other palette videos down below if you care to check those out, because I have done other palette videos. Anyway, I will see you next time. Bye.